Hi everyone, it's Amy Brooks here of the Intuitive Rising, and I'm coming on a little impromptu, and hopefully we won't be disturbed with any noise, but it's possible because I've got kids here doing home learning. So I wanted to come on quickly because I got a new deck today. I know you're thinking like, another one? Yes, another one. This one I got for my birthday, but it just arrived today. So most of you know that I've been like down the steep rabbit hole of human design and gene keys for about 6 months, maybe even a little bit longer now. And I did a mastermind 2-hour class last week with somebody all about my life's work gene key, and it was really eye-opening. And they used some material for the mastermind from this deck and from this person. So then I got really excited because I wanted to incorporate my learning and knowledge of gene keys and human designs within like a reading. Right? So there's this deck, it's called the Wisdom Keepers, Oracle deck and Inner Guidebook. It's massive, like look, almost the size of my face. It's a really big deck, and so it says the 64 Faces of Awakening. And so there are 64 gates in gene keys and human design. And this is the first time I'm opening it. Oh, look. And this is like a card for each one. Look at the size of the guidebook. So like, let's look, for instance, 54, like I said, is my life's work. And that was in transit just up until the 10th. So it's got like information. And this is like just the face. This person interpreted this to be the face of that particular gene key. So there's a story with some wisdom in it, which I really love because I'm somebody that really likes to incorporate like metaphors and analogies in my own teachings. And so that's the way that I like to learn as well, because it just like, there's just an extra level to it that makes me really get it. It's how my brain works. So there's contemplation questions in this about each one, and I just think it's really neat. So let's give a quick little shuffle. Look at the size of these cards. Wow, I think these are going to be difficult to shuffle, but that's okay because I'm probably not going to use these in like typical one-on-one intuitive sessions, but more so, you know, for myself or maybe in random card pulls. Look at this. I don't even know what this is. It says peel off the protective film. Oh my God, you know what it is? Okay, this is really cool. So you know how I said there is a face on each card that's like the face of that gate? Well, the last one is a mirror. That's like you are the face of that gate. I think that's a really special and cool little extra thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to actually, what I'm going to do is do what I taught you guys to do in the past whenever you get a new deck, and that is to infuse your energy on each card. So when you get a new deck of cards, tarot, oracle, whatever they are, it's really important that you kind of touch each one, acknowledge them, and infuse them with your own energy. It's also important if you like loan your cards out to somebody or share them, or if you purchase them secondhand or do a trade with somebody, just always make sure that when you get them back, like for instance, if you let somebody borrow them, that you do this again, you put your own energy back into the card. I'm really excited about these cards, and they weren't supposed to be here today, so that's extra surprise. And so after I do this, I'm just going to give them a little quick shuffle as best I can, because these are, like I said, are quite large, so they might be difficult for me to shuffle with my hands. And then I will spread them out and pull one, just kind of reveal the energy. My little guy's here, so being a little bit distracting to me. What I wanted to share though is that, so we all have specific gates that are kind of like awakened in our own charts. And Those are just the ones that you have like consistent access to, and that very likely will play a significant role in your life, your personality, that kind of stuff. But it's not to say that you don't have access to all gates. We do. We have access to all gates. It's just that some, like I said, we have more access to. But these gates, they transit like throughout the year, right? So they correspond to different birthday times, like in 5-day intervals, in terms of like your life's work, for instance. And sorry, all of a sudden I'm very distracted because my little guy is behind me. I'm gonna try to stay with it here. Yeah, so they are in transit though for those times of the year. So like last week I shared that it was my life's work that was in transit, which was gate 54. And that meant that the energy collectively of the week felt that. So that's the gate of ambition and drive, but the shadow side of it is kind of like the fear of failure, right? Or holding on to things. The shadow is actually greed, which I was taught is not just necessarily to be greedy about materialistic things. It's more just like even the greed of, because it's selfish to not serve, right? If you are somebody that has something to share, which we all do, and you're not sharing it, you're not sharing your own gifts with the world, then that can be seen as selfish, right? So it's really about that too, like just holding on to things for ourselves because we're kind of worried, the fear of failure. Okay, so here we go. Just 1 minute, I'm almost done. He wants to turn the TV on. And I asked him to be patient while I do this. Okay, so here we go. So long story short, the reason I was saying that was, I'm sorry that I'm distracted, was because that was in transit collectively. So we all might have been feeling that energy, which goes really nice and natural with that beginning of January energy anyways, because that's when you are like, you know, ambitious and feeling New Year's energy, or that's at least what we feel like we should feel like, right? And perhaps we're a little bit stuck in the shadow side of just feeling the overwhelm of our ambition and all the things that we want and need to do. So whatever I pull here, it doesn't necessarily have to be in transit right now. It's just coming forward as something that we specifically are being asked to focus on today. So the card I pulled is Gene Key 23. First of all, look at this, how beautiful. And this is the transit, the gate of simplicity. So let's go to our handy guidebook, and I'm gonna read it to you. I'm not gonna read the story because that would take all day, but I'm gonna read to you the questions for contemplation and also just give you like a little brief synopsis. So this card, it says, if you love simplicity, you will manifest it around you. How perfect is that for us this week, this month, this year, with kind of feeling overwhelmed and stressed, right? And yes, 2 days ago when I channeled the collective guidance for this week, there was a lot about like stress arises from a sense of urgency. So is this actually urgent, right? So we're really all craving simplicity. Okay, simplicity. So I'm going to skip the wisdom story because that's kind of like a story about this particular face of the gate. This is what it says. My gift to you. Do you want to be happy? I'm here to encourage you to keep it simple and to slow it all down. This is what I mean. The cards don't lie, guys. We've been talking about this all week. You don't have to solve every problem. Find the clutter in your mind and environment and then let it all go. Notice how much more relaxed your body becomes when you release yourself from having to figure it all out. I invite you to trust that life has its own way of dissolving knots. Imagine yourself up above your life looking down. How many of the things you fret about truly need fretting? This is that urgency message again. Drop into a deeper stillness. Go for a walk. It says smell the flowers. I know we can't smell the flowers right now in the northern hemisphere, but go outside and smell the fresh air. Smell the pine needles, whatever it is. Listen to the breeze, and while you listen, breathe deep into your belly and remind yourself that you don't have to have it all sorted out in your head. Try accepting the moment exactly as it is and see what happens. Beneath what you think is what you truly know. This is the perfect card for me. I feel like I'm going to check if I have this gate. It's the perfect card for me and what I teach. Perfect. Beneath what you think is what you truly know. Let your knowing, gentle heart lead the way towards simplicity. And then there's some questions for contemplation, which I will give to you as well in case you're interested in maybe jotting them down and listening to them, or even like just giving some thought to them. Do you tend to get tongue-tied out of fear, talk too much, or say the wrong thing? Have you learned to remain silent even though you have something to say? Do you rarely share what you're truly feeling and thinking? Where are you making your life more complicated than it needs to be? Where in your life is calling out for greater simplicity? Pick an area of your life in need of decluttering. Commit to releasing something, a thought, a feeling, an object, a relationship this week. Amazing. I'm so glad that I purchased this deck. If you're somebody that is into human design, gene keys, that kind of stuff, or just like really likes oracle decks, highly recommend this. And I've only just opened it and pulled it. And like, how neat is this? How neat is that? Hope you have a wonderful day.